Hello everyone and welcome to the Unreal Engine 4 tutorial series. This is a requested video. So some weeks ago I was showing you a gameplay of my current project. So this is my gameplay, and as you can see, whenever my player moves, a magical orb is following my player, something like this. So I got a request, how do I make that? As you can see, I can change the orb, and from the different orb I can make this. Okay, so we will make this today. So as you can see, this is my brand new third-person shooter template. So what we need, so first things first, we need a actor, a orb. So we will make a new folder and I'm call it magic orb. So we will code all the things inside here. Inside here we will need a blueprint class called actor, and I'm call it a master orb. It's save. Okay, and in here what we need, so first things first, we need obviously a static mesh for our orb. So this would be an orb mesh. What we I think we don't need anything else. If you want to add something more, you will add it. Okay, so I don't want to code this inside this master orb. I want to create a child blueprint class, and I will call all the things inside this child blueprint. So I'm gonna call it orb1, because you can create all the orbs 1 2 3 4 from here. So this orb1, I want to set the static mesh to a 1 cube, this one. You can literally create anything you want, and my scale would be 0.05 because it's too big, right? Okay, so open your master orb as well, because this master of collisions should be no collisions, because otherwise when you attach it to your player it will create a camera issues. So let's attach this orb to our player. So open your player character, whatever you are using. I'm using the third-person character, and in this character what I need, so in the viewport as you can see, we already have attached one camera boom. I need a new spring arm so that I can attach the end of it to my player, and then I can do all the things. The spring arm should be in here, the capsule component should be a parent of the spring arm, and let's call it a orb arm. Okay, so yes. Okay, so the best transform I get for my spring arm by sticking around is a z axis for 40, and this rotation should be minus 120. The arm probe, this size would be 12 and the length would be 30, not 300. Okay, so as you can see, it looks something similar to this, and my offset would be 20. So now it is something inside here which is perfect, and in the end of this orb I want to add a scene component, and I'm gonna call it a orb hold. Okay, hit compile, save, and we are done. So open your event graph, and let's say in the begin play I want to attach that orb to my player. So let's create a function called attach orb. Okay, so which orb I want to attach? So this would be a orb class, because there are so many orbs that you can attach, and this would be a master orb class reference, right? So what I need to do, I want to spawn actor from the class, and the class would be this one. The transform should be make transform, because the transform should be, wait, just delete it. Get the transform of this orb holder, the scene component, and I will simply get the relative transform. This transform should go here. Hit Q. So I want to attach my orb in this orb holder, and let's just promote it to a variable so that we can keep track of all the orbs. So this would be my current orb, and when I move, I want to move this with my orb. So what I will do is I will simply attach to component. The thing I want to attach is this orb, and where I want to attach to my this orb holder, and keep all to snap to target, relative, and all the locations. Okay. So on the event graph, let's just call out that orb function. So it's saying me what the orb you want to attach. So orb1 for just testing purpose. So when I hit play, oops, when I hit play, as you can see, a orb is attached to my player, but it is not following as it should. It is just attached like a static mesh. So what we'll do now, so on the viewport, if you click on this spring arm, you can access to all the details. If you go forward, you can see this camera lag. So enable all the things, camera, not the debug. We don't need the debugging part. Okay. For me, the best solutions I get, the best values I get for my camera lag is 2.5 for this one, and the rotation would be 5, and I don't wanna go behind 180 pixels or 180 density pixels. Okay, so now if I check, this is my orb and it is moving something behind, as you can see. So this is what a camera lag do. Also, it is not even overlapping if you go something called this one. As you can see, the spring arm works as it should. So yeah, I have created my following orb. Okay, now what? I need to actually do some emissive color to my orb and rotations and up and down. So let's make that. So for that, what I need, I will simply save it because I have it done. Let's go back to our magical master orb. So I want to create a rotation function for this. So I will create a rotate function, and my rotate function has a delta value. So in the rotate, click on this rotate function and has an input called delta, because this would be rotating every single frame. So first I want to check, hit branch. First I want to check it can rotate or not, because if some orbs that can be rotated, because if you are making a fantasy game, then you have different orbs and some can rotate, some can't. So I will simply make this if it can rotate or not. Hit branch, right? Okay. Now what new? If it can rotate, then and then I want to rotate. So I will simply get this orb mesh, and I will get the relative rotation, this one, and also I will set a relative rotation. Well, let's just right click to split up this guys and hit it to true branch. Okay, so x and y axis, as you can see, x and y axis are this one, which has nothing to do with the rotate, so it will simply go to this x and y, not z, x and y, because we need a z axis so that we can rotate in the z axis. For the z axis, what I will do, so I will simply get f interrupt 2, which is interrupt a floating curve in a dynamically way. This would go to a z value. Okay, so my current position should be this z here, and my this one, the plus position, would go to the target one. Now the delta time would be this delta. So get the delta. This delta is the input parameter of this one, this delta. And interpolation speed, let's just promote it to variable. I'm gonna call it a rotate speed. Hit compile, save. Now the rotation, let's first check it out. So just call out that rotate function. The delta would go in here, this delta, call out in the tick. Okay, so in the ob1 we have to change the values. So yes, it can rotate, and the rotate speed 5. Let's just check out by 5. Oops, 5 is not much. 50. Let's check out the 50. Okay, so as you can see, it is rotating at 50 speed. Okay, 50 is okay for me. Also, I not satisfied with this orientation, so I will simply set 45. Yes, 45 would be fine. So as you can see, now it is rotating, but it is also offsetted from 45 degrees from both the angles, which looks absolutely fine for me. Okay, so we have done these two things of rotation. Next thing is in the rotation part, yes, master of rotate function. Let's select it and let's make a new function, clockwise or anti-clockwise. So if it clockwise, then it will rotate to plus. If it anti-clockwise, it will rotate to minus. So +1 and -1. Okay, so let's check out. The clockwise it folds, so it is rotating the minus side. But if the clockwise is true in the ob1, then it will rotate to the clockwise. Yes, so it is working. So we got our first thing working. Let's make a second one. Second thing is up and down. So your ob should be go up and down. So let's make a custom event. I'm gonna call it up and down. So what I will do, I will simply hit first a branch. Obviously it can go up and down, up and down. Oh, whoops, can up and down, because if it can't go up and down, then you don't have to take this boolean. So first let's say if my obs can go up and down, then what I need to do, I will add a timeline, call upward. You can call out anything you want. Okay, so if you click on this is a blank timeline, and I will simply add a float curve by clicking this F plus, and I'm call it a alpha. If you hold down the shift key and left click, you can add one point in it, but before adding, let's make this length to 1. So from 0 to 1 second, this timeline will change. So let's add the shift and add 2 points, right? a first point would be at 0 second the value should be 0, and at the 1 second the value should be 1. And click on these two arrows so it cover whole the area, and if you right click on this first one, the left one, and hit auto, it will generate a little curve. Okay, so we have done here, we got our alpha. Next thing is we want to move this orb up and down gradually. So how do we gonna do that? So we have the orb mesh. Let's set a relative location on the update, and we need the z-axis, the upward axis. So if you split it out, you can split it out. The z-axis, I am simply gonna do a linear lerp, a float lerp. The alpha would go to here, this alpha, and it can go from 0 to how much? 5 density pixels would work fine, I guess, because last time it did. You can play around this value for your okay. So yeah, it will update to 0 to 5 gradually. Now what? You can see this direction, so it go from forward or a backward direction. So what I know, I will simply switch on this timeline. So if it's forward, so if the timeline is moving forward or it is backward, it can do. So on the finished, first I need a delay, because otherwise it just don't look so good. So when you finish this timeline and go to bottom, it will stay bottom for some time, and then I want to check if it's forward direction, then I want to make it a reverse, and if it's in the backward direction, then I want to go into the forward direction, right? So if it's forward, then go to the reverse. So I will simply double click to add a reroute node. So as you can see, yes. So if it's a forward direction, then I will go to reverse. If it's a reverse direction, then I will go to forward. Okay, hit compile, save. Okay, in the master orb, yes, it can go up and down, but what I need to do, I need to call out this function up and down. So in the begin play, I will call out that up and down function, up and down. So let's check it out, the up and down working or not. So yes, it is gradually increasing and decreasing. Now if you want to change this up and down, how you can do, you can grab your timeline from the component. If you create any timeline, a component is created called timeline, and set play rate. And this play rate would be whatever you want. If you promote it to variable for up and down, it's also good. So up and down speed. So let's say for my O1, the up and down speed would be 0.5. So let's check out 0.5. So as you can see, it is gradually going up and down, then again up and down. Okay, now this globe is not looking so good. It's just a static mesh. So let's add some colors, let's add some effects so it looks much good. So how are you gonna do that? I will simply hit compile, save and close it, all the things, because we have done all the things. I will simply right click and add a material. I'm gonna call it orb emissive material matte. Open it up. So you can see everything looks something similar to this. The material should not be opaque, it should be translucent, because otherwise it won't gonna reflect all the things. Let's set first a vector parameter. This would be a orb color, and let's multiply this color with a new scalar parameter, and this would be your emissivity. So emission, and these two guys should be your emission. So let's say by default my default value of emission should be 1, and my orb color by default is a blue color. You can change it in the instance of this. Then again I want to multiply with a Fresnel. So if you search for a Fresnel, this, it's not a Fresnel, it's Fresnel with S silent. So what a Fresnel do? So as you can see, let me just simply apply. So as you can see, the Fresnel do this thing from the edges to the center of the screen. You get this effect by the Fresnel. If you don't have this Fresnel, you get something, this effect. It apply. Let me just stop previewing this and add it to the emission. So if you don't have the Fresnel, you simply get this type of effect. Let's just wait and see. Yes, and if you have the Fresnel, you have seen that effects, right? Now for the Fresnel, I will simply attach it to the emission. Now for the Fresnel, the exponent I get is 3 and 0.05 for my. You can play around and whatever suits best for you, it would be your this one. So as you can see, it is literally changing. Let's make the opacity to a scalar parameter, and I'm gonna call it opacity with the default value of 1. Don't worry, we will change this all the in the instance of this material. It compiles, save. Yes, and I don't need this anymore because we have simply created a material, and now I need a instance of it. So this is our material. I will simply right click and create a material instance. See, as you can see, now I can change all the things instantly. So if you want to change the orb color, if you just click on this, change to whatever you like. Let's search for this red one. The emission is the emissivity. So as you can see, this is lightning 300. This is lightning, a very good. The opacity is just nothing but how opaque this is. 1 is fine for me. So I will use this material instance for my orb1. So open that orb1, click on the static mesh, and the material would be the orb material instance. Hit compile. If you go this, as you can see, this is a nice little effect. So now if you play, you can see this little effect, and my orb is just following me. So we have made this orb effect and all the things. So this is all for it now. So thank you so much guys for watching it. Bye bye.